This question says, determine the intervals for which the function is increasing, decreasing, and constant. So we have this picture here, and these words of increasing, decreasing, and constant, they're all describing the y values. So what we want to do is we want to trace the graph going from left to right. The reason why we go from left to right is because we want to go on the x scale from smallest to largest. So that would go from left to right. We're going to trace the graph from left to right. And as we go, we're going to figure out what's happening to the y values. So as we trace along this piece here from left to right, the y values are getting larger or increasing. So I'm going to label this as increasing. And then we get to this point right here, this little peak, and it starts changing. As I trace this piece, now the y values are getting smaller. So this I'm going to label with decreasing. When we get to this little valley, it changes again, and now the y values are increasing. So I'll label that with increasing. So we want to write down where the function is increasing, decreasing, and constant. Notice that we didn't get any sections where it was constant, so we're going to say none on that one. And then when we write down these intervals of increasing and decreasing, we want to make sure that we're using the x scale. The x scale is sort of like our map. We say, look at the graph at x equals 5, and you go to x equals 5, and you start looking at the picture at that point. So when we write down our answers here, we want to write down x values. So when I look at this section right here, this section we labeled as increasing. Where do the x values start and stop for that section? So the x values will start over here at negative infinity and stop when we get to negative 3. We're going to use a parenthesis on infinity. We also have another section of increasing which started right here at an x value of 3 and continues all the way to this x value of 10. So from 3 to 10, we have another section of increasing. I'll separate those answers with a comma. Then we have a section of decreasing right here. And that section of decreasing started at negative 3, an x value of negative 3, and stops at an x value of 3. So from negative 3 to 3, we have decreasing. So remember that these words, increasing, decreasing, and constant, are referring to what's happening with y. But when we write down our intervals, we write down the x's because that's the where part. Thank you for checking out my videos. Have a great day.